you're correct. We've been able to reinvent ourselves throughout the years. So we went from like a paper mill, pulp mill company to a rubber manufacturing company, manufacturing rain boots and even condoms, by the way. Fun fact.
Great to have you in the conversation. Nokia is a company which everybody knows about, and especially in India because it was one of the most important brands. I mean, my first phone was a Nokia.
Right.
So, so where is Nokia now?
Where is Nokia now? Exactly. I mean, Nokia is a well-loved brand, a well-known brand. We have about 98% brand recognition around the world. But a lot of that brand recognition is not necessarily for what we do right now. It's still for mobile phones, right? And while we do have mobile phones out in the market, it's actually, we don't manufacture those phones anymore. So Nokia is a 160-year-old brand now, and we are actually in network equipment, network infrastructure. So we are mainly a B2B company or B2B2C company. We are still across the globe. We are at around, I don't know, 85, 90,000 employees. So Nokia is a huge organization and obviously one of the leaders in telecom and in private wireless networking and mobile networks and fixed networks and IP networks, optical networks, and so on and so forth. We just don't do a lot of the consumer stuff that people usually think of when they think of Nokia.
And so Nokia is a classic example of pivoting, right? Pivoting your brand, pivoting your company,
yes.
right from its history. So it
Yeah.
started off being a teak company or a wood company.
A pulp mill, to be exact, yes. 160 years ago almost. And then it pivoted. You're correct. We've been able to reinvent ourselves throughout the years. So we went from like a paper mill, pulp mill company to a rubber manufacturing company, manufacturing rain boots and even condoms, by the way, fun fact. Also electronics like TVs, for example, or then the mobile phones. And now, again, pivoted to being a network equipment company. I mean, we've been doing that for a while, but there's constant reinvention. And actually, just this year, we've gone through a complete rebranding. So we changed our well-loved, well-known 60-year-old logo as well. So for a legacy brand like Nokia, that's huge, right? So we do try to reinvent the brand. It is extremely important for brands to be able to evolve and change and reinvent themselves to stay relevant because your audience changes.
How do you are the brand manager at?
No, I'm actually responsible for demand generation and marketing campaigns.
Okay.
But I do work hand in hand with our brand team.
So how did you manage this entire brand
Rebranding.
change, rebranding?
Ooh, that was
Give us a perspective of
Right.
what happened inside Nokia when
Wow.
you did this rebranding.
It was extensive work across many, many functions. You can imagine it's not just marketing. It's all about products. It's about real estate. It's there's so many components to a rebranding. From a marketing perspective, of course, all our digital real estate, like our website, our social channels, and all the content that goes on those digital channels. So we've rebranded hundreds, if not thousands, of assets. We had to do a very excessive exercise of prioritizing what we needed to rebrand right away for day one, and then what were the things that we took offline for a little bit, or we kept offline somewhere if they were not on super priority pages, and then kept rebranding them as we went. We really had to do a major assessment of content, how we want to repurpose certain content that went live before the rebranding. We also needed to make sure that we kind of stopped ourselves from developing really like hero type expensive content just before the rebrand, because we knew if we did that, then we would have to do it twice.
Hero type content means what?
Hero type content means the type of content that is your main piece that you will then go and slice and dice into smaller pieces. It's more of an evergreen type of content that you should be keeping for a long period of time. Yes, maybe you will update it here and there, but that's something that's more evergreen. So when you create something like that, that usually costs more, and therefore we were very strategic about what kind of content we would be creating or we would not be creating a couple of weeks and months leading up to the unveiling of our
So
new
go a
brand.
little deep down with specific days at your office or specific content which really struck in or stayed in your mind about this whole experience about the rebranding.
Well,
Specific instances in
mhm.
this rebranding exercise which kind of stayed in your mind. Events which happened, which
Right,
challenges which
right.
happened,
Well,
crazy days.
right. Lots of crazy days. This took months. This was almost a year, pretty much. Again, prioritizing, strategizing about how we prioritize which assets we will or we will not, what goes into the day one bucket, what goes into the, okay, that's okay to rebrand later.
So what went into the day one bucket?
Lots of content. I mean, Nokia is a huge organization and we do create a lot of content. We've got lots and lots, we've got a huge portfolio. So obviously we had to prioritize some of the web pages that we felt, we did a lot of analytics on what pages actually get the most traffic organically as well. Not just, okay, these are the pages that I'd like to promote paid. And I know I'll be sending here traffic. So I'll have to make sure that that page is updated and rebranded by day one. But we also had to understand what are the pages that people find organically, even if it's not a complete priority to us right now. We still need to update that. We needed to update our whole YouTube library. That was a huge undertaking. What are the videos we will keep on the top page, and what are the ones that are okay to stay as is for now? Are we taking videos off? We took a lot of videos off. And then, of course, we unveiled this new brand at Mobile World Congress Barcelona. So that was our huge event, a huge booth that we had to keep hidden. So we had the booth covered the whole time it was built. It was also kind of a really cool exercise. Everyone was talking about it, buzzing about it, because it was in the middle of the hole, and other vendors are building their booths. Normally we would be building our booths with in daylight, but this time we had it covered.
That took
So
special permission, I guess, from the
yes, so,
Congress.
so it was really interesting. And then obviously we were so excited and so energetic from the buzz that we got from the media and the industry. And our new brand is amazing. Honestly, it's very colorful. It's very lively and energetic, and it gives our brand a whole new entity and meaning as well. Fundamentally, our company has not changed. Our values have not changed, but I feel like we can just take it to life a lot better with the colors and the imagery and the brand voice right now. It's really exciting.
So what is left now? What are the next steps into engaging with people? What do you do on a daily basis as a person who is involved with the brand?
Right.
What's your daily like? Your daily from the day when you reach your desk. I don't know if you work from home or
Right.
but
We
from your
do.
from you start when you start working to
Yeah.
describe a day for me.
Wow. So lots of calls for sure. For sure. I do attend a lot of calls. So I'm in the digital demand generation, campaign management part of the business. So my days are a lot more technical and a lot more operational than maybe for the brand team it would be. One thing for sure for our brand, the whole reason we did the rebranding is to position ourselves better in front of the enterprise audience that may not be as aware of what Nokia does and what Nokia can offer them as our communication service provider audiences who have been doing business with us for a long time. So obviously, there's still a lot to do there. Building a brand takes a long time. Creating demand takes a long time. It takes years, honestly. So so we've got a long-term plan on how to make sure that we keep up the engagement and we keep up the activities around our brand renewal. But on a daily basis, obviously, we do create content that is trying to drive demand for our solutions and our products that is different from the brand campaign that is being driven around awareness of Nokia in the space or in a category. But my team does a lot of work around driving demand for a specific solution or for a specific product.
How do you do that?
We run, we run omni-channel campaigns. So omni-channels means all the channels.
Okay.
Of course, there may be priorities across channels depending on the audience, depending on the product that you're trying to promote, how mature that product is, how well known that product is, what your goals are. Are you trying to build awareness around it? Is it a new type of paradigm in your industry, or is it well known and you're trying to drive more demos and signups and revenue at the end of the day?
Why don't you take us through, say, one example of how you chose, say, a product, and how did you choose the
Right.
the channel?
So we will obviously be looking at where that product is in this ecosystem that I just mentioned, how well known it is, who the audience is, what the audience's main pain points and challenges are, and how we can actually respond to those challenges. And so we create content around that. And then depending on okay, so for a B2B audience like ours, we will create long form content as well as short form. So long form could be anything from a ebook, a webinar, it could be white papers, right? And then or research, third-party reports as well. Like we may work with analysts to create a market report that we can then take to market, promote. And then we will slice and dice these long form content into shorter, smaller, more snackable pieces, and create videos. Maybe we create a podcast, maybe we create a blog piece, maybe we do social media assets to promote it. So we will create these smaller snackable contents to put on our website, and then obviously we'll promote our website. So that could be organic promotion on social media or email, or that could be paid promotion like paid social or programmatic advertising. It could be content syndication depending on what your goals are. Are you trying to get are you trying to expand your audience, your database for email nurturing? Then you will probably need to find the cheapest way possible to get opted-in contacts, especially in certain parts of the world like Europe, with GDPR in place. So we do a lot of different channels and a lot of different tactics. And at the end of the day, we need to keep in mind our end game. What is the end game here? Again, what's your goal? Are you trying to generate revenue? Are you mandated to build thought leadership around the topic? Because then your tactics and metrics will be a little bit different.
And what do you find is the most cost-effective or efficient way? Is it your website? Is it a YouTube channel? If you had to choose one for the first among equals, what would you choose?
So for me, the website is a platform, but you need a YouTube maybe to drive traffic to your website, right? So there are channels that will help drive traffic to your website. And most likely, if you kind of try and reverse engineer a couple of wins, won opportunities that you had, whether you're B2C or B2B or direct to consumer, it doesn't matter. I guarantee you, people will come through your website at least once before they buy from you. So yes, the ultimate goal is definitely to drive them to our website and keep them there as long as possible and make sure that the journey for them is clear. People like to know what's expected of them, what's the next step, where to click. If it's not clear enough, if the experience is not seamless enough for them, then they'll leave.
You've come from being a programmer and a coder to a marketer, which
Yes.
is another flip, total mindset change. How do you maintain work-life balance? And
Right.
what advice would you give to a younger self of you?
Wow. Okay. So out of respect to all the coders and programmers out there, I would never call myself a programmer or coder, but I did start out coding actually in Perl, so that will date me well. Um, and yes, I'm a accidental marketer in that sense, but I just loved web technology so much that that kind of took me onto that path. How do I maintain balance, work-life balance? It is not easy, I'll be honest, but I guess the um, what gives me energy is I love what I do. So I don't. A lot of times I find myself working, even though I didn't even realize I was working because I love it so much. So I'm really passionate about technology and digital marketing and marketing in general, and I love it. It does take sometimes I have to drag myself away from the computer to spend time with family and friends. But I guess marketing can be so rewarding. It sometimes, depending on your industry, it's easier to get instant results than in other times. For example, in the industry I'm in, we have really long sales cycles, and it's not instant transactions that happen that would show me my results. So it can be hard to stay motivated and really understand that what you're doing is working and you're doing it well. But it's the love for the craft of marketing that keeps me
And
going
anything that you would do,
differently.
advice to a younger you?
You got it. You can do it. Imposter syndrome is real, and we have a lot of doubts. But don't be afraid. There are people out there that are getting paid for what you're afraid to be doing, and they are doing it wrong. So don't be afraid. Take risks, be bold, and get out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Loved it.